Hello everyone, welcome to the Smart Markets Insights here on Kalkine TV. Sage with you today, and we'll be shining some light on the Australian housing sector. The average Aussie mortgage holder faces immense pressure as the pandemic-induced economic adversities show no sign of a reversal. Most global economies have emerged from the economic slump encountered during the pandemic. However, bigger problems have arisen in the post-pandemic phase, including a large-scale disruption in the global supply chain. Most nations are struggling to efficiently manage the flow of supplies into their economy as the Russia-Ukraine war lingers in the backdrop. The global economy has seen fiscal stimulus injected and removed abruptly as inflationary pressures took off. And these drastic injections of economic stimulus have left most global economies charged up in a highly inflationary environment. Experts have quickly slashed their economic growth forecasts for the coming years as most countries struggle to bring back pre-pandemic growth rates. While demand has sprung back, the capacity to supply these goods to keep the economy afloat has not yet been built. And meanwhile, central banks across the globe are still increasing their interest rates to remove the additional stimulus provided during the pandemic. Australia's economic growth has not been affected as severely as many other nations. However, as rapid interest rate hikes become regular, the Aussie consumer might be facing limited choices while managing their budgets. Australia's housing sector has been booming rapidly, encouraged by the strong uptick in housing demand. However, the fast-growing pace of the sector has been met with fears of higher interest rates, ultimately causing housing prices to fall. But the market remains largely unaffordable, with many first-time buyers being locked out of the market. Housing markets in the capital cities of Sydney and Melbourne had seen a decline in housing prices months before the interest rate decision was taken by the Reserve Bank of Australia, or RBA, and the RBA raised the cash rate to 0.35% in its May monetary policy meeting. Higher interest rates mean a higher cost of borrowing, which has emerged as a huge burden on mortgage holders. And previously, low borrowing costs led to a housing demand surge, which ultimately widened the demand-supply gap in the country. Australia's housing supply has been under immense stress as fewer houses are available for sale. This has inadvertently built a housing market that has become increasingly unaffordable for an average Australian. The Australian property boom is so pronounced that the country has one of the most expensive housing markets in the world. So, is a housing market crash on the way? As recessionary fears shape up in the US, many economies face the heat created by global supply-side challenges. Australia's impeccable resilience to foreign shocks has kept its economic trajectory buoyant. However, the housing market has been a constant source of vulnerability for most Australians. The central bank went against the tide and delayed its interest rate hike decision. However, this also meant that the highly inflationary scenario in the housing market persisted for a long time. The RBA's delayed interest rate hike fueled further inflationary concerns until market pundits started speculating about a rate hike. However, some experts believe that economists rely too heavily on monetary policy and depend on it to cure economic adversities. Experts also fear that the cash rate could run past the pre-pandemic level if current expectations are upheld. Sharper rises in the interest rate could force mortgage holders to reduce their expenditure on other items. Consequently, a recession may soon take over, and many Australians might be worse off. Instead, a gradualist approach with less aggressive tightening could allow the economy to adjust to building up critical circumstances. Well, hopefully that was informative for you. We'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments below, but that is all for now. We will be back again with the exclusive Smart Market Insights show tomorrow. Till then, keep watching Kalkine TV for the latest market updates and related insights. Sage signing off for now.